photography and videographer tonight. Let's give them a hand. And now for our special speaker. I'm really excited about this topic. So Sarah McNally is the CEO of Transform Corporation, a transformational consulting company, and is a contributing author to the book, Our Journey to Corporate Sanity. We could have used that in the fire service. Sarah's real-world experiences in nurturing, leading, and developing talent have been the invaluable foundation for her work in helping companies build inspired organizations and iconic brands. Sarah has learned that the driving force for being innovative, collaborative, and customer-centric is clarity of purpose. She states, sustained growth and profitability can only be achieved when everyone in the organization is committed to building a strong brand, which I think we all agree. I mean, those of us that are involved in this organization right here, we're all committed and believe in a strong brand. So, Sarah's purpose is connecting people to their purpose. She believes that understanding your why is everyone's superpower. So please give a warm rock star welcome to Sarah McNally.
Thank you, Jeff. Well, there's some familiar faces in the room and some new friends that I've made. So I want to start out by asking this question. How many of you know why you are here? I mean, I'm hoping most of you know why you're here at AGC tonight. Maybe some don't, but I'm pretty confident you'll figure it out. But how many of you know why you are here on the planet? That's a significant question, and I'm glad there's a couple of hands, and a lot of us have been drinking, and I'm sure you're like, whoa, that's a big question. But we're going to go there because it's so important to go there. And have you ever had one of those days where you've woken up and thought, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Does it even matter? Do I matter? These are big questions. These are questions I don't think we spend enough time reflecting on. And why? Because we're busy, but I also think we might be afraid we won't find the answer. Well, I'm going to answer one of those questions for you right now. And it's the do I matter question. Yes, yes, you matter. Some of you may be familiar with this data that's just come out of Gallup. Gallup's recently reported that only 13% of people are engaged at work. 13%. That means 87% of people are disengaged. Disengagement can look different to people. It can look like low energy. It can look like negativity. For some, they dread going to work every day. And for others, they use distractions such as social media or food to get through their day. Or coffee. Thank you, yes, absolutely. And what I've observed is at the core of the disengagement is a feeling that they don't matter. They don't know where they fit into the big picture of what the company they work for is creating. So they feel dispensable and invisible. And that can actually contribute to feelings of unworthiness. There are so many things in life that are outside of our control. People, weather, our government, global events. Did I mention people? Yes. But what is in our control is our depth of self-awareness that actually impacts how we see the world around us. And the foundation of that awareness is knowing your purpose. It's every person's superpower, your unique contribution to the world. What if everyone knew that their contribution mattered? How differently would they show up? How many of you would call yourself a leader in the room? Okay, so a leader's purpose is to motivate and inspire their teams to achieve the goals of the organization. That's how a leader contributes. And you bring something unique to the role. Being a leader is a way to fulfill your purpose. And if you can help your teams not only understand the organization's why, but their individual whys, you will gain loyalty and commitment. Purpose is about contribution. What do I want to contribute? What am I meant to contribute? And we were all born with gifts and talents. We can't help it. We were just born with them. And then over time, we gain skills and expertise and even experiences, all that help shape our purpose, our why. There was a question as we came in, a networking question about your unique gifts and talents. And I just want to make sure that you guys had a chance to really think about that, because I don't think we talk about our gifts and talents enough. I think it sounds like bragging, and it can feel egotistical. So what I'd like you to do is turn to the person next to you, and I want you to share one of your unique gifts and talents, and I want you to brag as if your life depended on it. Go. Okay, I'm going to bring you back. Come on back. I love how excited everyone was to share their gifts and talents. Come on back. Come on back. Okay, so nobody wants to stop talking about their gifts and talents. Obviously, that felt really good. Did that feel good? Did it feel good? Anyone feel weird? Oh, this is a very confident group. They like talking about their gifts and talents. I'm so happy. Well, good. So now that you've had an opportunity to get that out of your system and you're clear on that, the other part that we look at with our purpose are our skills and expertise that we've developed over time. It can be related to your education, maybe a trade. It could be connected to a talent. So for example, for me, I was born with the gift of, some people could say the gift of being obnoxious, or, be comfort being on stage, performing. I've always liked to perform, and I ended up being a theater major in college. But then as I got into my work life, I ended up learning the skills of speaking and facilitating. So think about that for yourself. What are the skills and expertise that you've developed over time? Because this can be part of your purpose. And then the other part of your purpose is about your experiences. We all have very unique experiences. Some may have been difficult, but they are all part of our story. There's a nonprofit that I volunteer for here in Minneapolis called the Brand Lab. And they are committed to diversifying the marketing and advertising industry. So their goal is to have the industry reflect the marketplace, because the industry has typically been a very white industry. So they go into the Minneapolis schools and they teach about marketing. And those students who show an interest can apply for a summer internship. And the big companies participate: 3M, Cargill, Target, and then a lot of the marketing agencies and advertising agencies in Minneapolis. So these are students that wouldn't necessarily get exposure to this, and they're students of color and diverse socioeconomic backgrounds. And I'm in my 8th year of teaching them about their personal brand at the beginning of the summer as a way to prepare them for their internships. And we spend a lot of time talking about their purpose. And I share some of the things that I've shared with you tonight to help them get there. And we talk about experiences, because these young people have had some incredible experiences already at their young age. And so I share an experience that I had at a young age that was one of the most challenging experiences of my life, but ended up helping me discover my purpose. And it's the story of being 21 and a junior in college and finding out I was pregnant. It was a hugely devastating and challenging moment for me. I'm the oldest of 5 kids. My dad is here tonight. He's my business partner. And I'd always done things pretty much by the book, or at least as far as my parents knew. But this was something I couldn't hide. And I was not a young woman that really fantasized about getting married and having kids, probably because I'm the oldest of 5 kids, and that looked insane. So finding out I was pregnant just threw me completely for a loop, and all of a sudden I was that girl. Well, I didn't know what to do. It took me a long time to think about and figure it out, and I thought my only option was to parent. And so I spent many months thinking about that and trying to figure out what that would look like. And when I was about 5 months along, I realized that I couldn't do that. I wasn't equipped. I wasn't ready. I didn't have the means. I couldn't provide for my daughter the way that I would have wanted to. And so I began to look at another option, which was adoption. I knew nothing about adoption. This was 1995, and the only things I'd probably ever been exposed to were from shows like Jenny Jones and Donahue. For those of us who are old enough to remember those shows, some of us in the audience are like, what? I don't know who that is. Or like 1995 Oprah. So not a lot of good information for me. But I opened up the yellow pages, yes, the yellow pages, and adoption was listed in the yellow pages. And I called the first ad that I saw. And the woman I got on the phone with ended up being the woman who was my social worker. And she told me about open adoption. And open adoption is everything from choosing the parents to receiving pictures and letters of your child to having a relationship. Well, that was incredibly overwhelming for me. But I loved the idea that I could choose her parents. And so I began to make an adoption plan for my daughter. Fast forward to September 23rd, 1995, my daughter Ellie was born. I spent 2 days in the hospital with her. I thought that I would want her to be in the nursery and that I'd have her just come and visit me, but I ended up having her next to me the entire time. And I was never more sure of my decision. I knew that I could not give this little girl what she needed and what this couple could. Now, the day I left the hospital was the hardest day of my life. And I had many, many hard days after that, but I had beautiful ones. This is my daughter Ellie. She's 23 years old. We have a relationship. She knows my family. She knows my daughter Sydney, who's 7. I was a little bit older when I had her. And it's a beautiful experience. And so I shared this story with the students. And a couple of years ago, at the end of the day, the students were giving me feedback and like kudos, thank you. And a young man said to me, thank you so much for sharing your story about your daughter, because I never would have thought you would have had that backstory. And I was speechless. I realized how they saw me. They saw me as the successful white woman with no backstory. And I said to them, every single person has a backstory. Never feel shame about your backstory, because in fact, it's your backstory that can lead you to your purpose. What are you meant to contribute? What gifts and talents were you born with unique to you? And what experiences have you had that upon reflection, you realize you went through to help others? What lights you up inside? Your gifts and talents, combined with your skills and expertise, combined with your experiences, equal your purpose. There are many definitions of success, and if success for you means happiness and fulfillment, remember that the happiest and most fulfilled people are those who on a daily basis contribute their gifts and talents to something they believe in. You matter, and we need you. Thank you.